sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
Right, so we're going to unpack this story, and it's got like a real knockout punch of boxing history and legal drama.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know the Rumble in the Jungle, that iconic fight where Ali took down Foreman?
Right.
Well, picture this. Rumble in the Jungle 2.
Wow.
50 years later, set to be this massive event in Africa.
Right.
We're diving deep into an article about a lawsuit against Don King.
Yeah.
This is the legendary boxing promoter.
Right.
And it's got more twists and turns than a championship bout.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission to figure out why this dream match never happened.
Right.
And what it reveals about the high-stakes world of boxing promotion.
What's fascinating here is the clash between two figures from different eras of boxing.
Okay.
You have Don King with his decades of experience.
Right.
And a reputation as flamboyant as it is controversial.
A true titan of the sport.
Exactly. And then there's Cecil Miller, CEO of BYD Sports. He's this ambitious newcomer who wanted to tie Rumble in the Jungle 2 to Nigeria's Global Entrepreneurship Festival. Imagine the spectacle.
Wow.
John Legend, Alicia Keys, Wycliffe Jean,
oh, wow.
all performing under the African sky.
It sounds like a recipe for an epic cultural event.
Absolutely. But this is where the story takes a left hook.
Right.
There was no formal written contract between King and Miller.
No contract. That's like stepping into the ring without gloves.
You're exactly right. It's Boxing Promotion 101. You need a contract. Think of the Mike Tyson-Mitch Green fight in 1988.
Oh, yeah.
Green claimed there was a handshake deal for a rematch, which Tyson denied. Chaos ensued, and no rematch happened. A legally binding document prevents this kind of confusion.
So this lack of a contract is where things started to go south for Rumble in the Jungle 2.
That's right. The article describes King becoming increasingly distant.
Oh, really?
Almost ghosting Miller. No calls, no participation in promotion, leaving Miller hanging after he'd already secured a memorandum of understanding with the Nigerian festival and brought bankers into the fold.
A memorandum of understanding.
Yeah.
You know, for our listeners who might not be familiar with that term.
It's essentially a document that outlines the terms of an agreement between two parties.
Oh, okay.
Think of it as a roadmap before the actual contract is drawn up. It shows they were serious about making this happen.
So things seem to be moving forward, and then, bam, King hits Miller with a legal haymaker.
Right.
What exactly happened?
King sent cease and desist letters. Now imagine receiving a legal document demanding you stop doing something, claiming you're infringing on someone's rights. That's a cease and desist.
Oh, wow.
And in this case, King claimed to have no involvement with Miller.
Oh, geez.
Or Rumble in the Jungle 2.
Wow. That's not just throwing in the towel. That's dismantling the entire ring.
Right.
What was Miller's response?
He filed a lawsuit against King.
Yeah.
Seeking a staggering $3 billion in damages.
$3 billion.
$3 billion. He's alleging fraud, claiming King misled him about his involvement in the project.
Right.
Knowing he didn't have the rights to the Rumble in the Jungle name.
Fraud is a serious accusation. That's not just a technicality. It implies intent to deceive.
Exactly. And remember, Miller had already taken substantial steps based on what he believed were King's assurances. He'd invested time, effort, and likely a significant amount of money. The lawsuit paints a picture of King dangling this massive opportunity, knowing it might not be possible.
That's what makes this so intriguing. Why would King do that? Was this a power play, a way to maintain control in the boxing world, or is there something more to the story?
It's a question that hangs over this entire situation. Was it a deliberate act of sabotage? Or did King genuinely believe he could secure the rights? We'll delve deeper into the allegations against King and explore these possible motives.
This is where it gets really interesting, right? Stay tuned as we unpack the details of the lawsuit and explore what this all means for Miller, for Don King, and for the world of boxing.
Welcome back. So last time we left off with Cecil Miller suing Don King for a jaw-dropping $3 billion.
Right.
And
yeah, $3 billion is a colossal amount.
right.
It makes you wonder what specific wrongdoings Miller is alleging.
So the lawsuit throws some serious punches,
Okay.
alleging a range of wrongdoings, starting with fraud.
Okay.
Miller claims King intentionally misled him
Hmm.
about his commitment to Rumble in the Jungle 2
Right.
and his ability to deliver on the project, especially regarding those crucial rights to the name.
So Miller's saying King was selling him a dream fight that couldn't legally happen.
That's the crux of it.
Yeah.
And the lawsuit emphasizes the fact that Miller had already taken concrete steps based on those alleged promises from King.
Yeah.
He'd secured that memorandum of understanding with the Nigerian festival,
Right.
and he'd started engaging with financial backers.
Okay.
This wasn't just an idea on a napkin.
Right.
It was a project gaining momentum.
And the lawsuit claims King knew this and still chose to pull out,
Right.
causing significant damage to Miller's venture.
Precisely. But it goes deeper than just fraud.
Okay.
Miller is also alleging breach of contract.
Oh, okay.
Now, you might be thinking,
Yeah.
but wait, we already established there wasn't a formal written agreement.
Right. That was our big takeaway from the first part of our deep dive.
Exactly. However, the lawsuit argues that a verbal agreement, when combined with actions taken based on that agreement,
Okay.
like securing financial backing
Yes.
and collaborating with the festival,
Right.
constitutes a legally binding contract.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fascinating legal argument.
So even without a signed document, Miller is claiming a contract existed based on the understanding and actions of both parties.
Yes, and to support this claim, the lawsuit will likely rely on evidence such as emails, phone records, and witness testimonies
Right.
to establish the existence of a verbal agreement and the actions taken in reliance on it.
That makes sense. It seems Miller is building a case that King's actions and his subsequent withdrawal directly damaged his ability to deliver on Rumble in the Jungle too.
Absolutely. And then there's the third major blow in this lawsuit.
Okay.
Defamation. Remember those cease and desist letters that King sent out?
Yeah, the ones that effectively stopped the fight before it even began.
Right. The lawsuit claims those letters contained false and damaging statements about Miller. Specifically, it alleges that King accused Miller of misrepresenting his involvement to government officials and others.
That's a serious accusation. It implies King was actively trying to damage Miller's reputation,
Right.
potentially affecting his future in the boxing world.
Exactly. And see, defamation in this context isn't just about hurt feelings. It's about potentially harming someone's professional standing.
Right.
These kinds of accusations in a close-knit industry like boxing
Yeah.
can have long-lasting consequences.
So not only did Miller lose the event, but his professional integrity is now being called into question.
Right.
It's a double hit.
Precisely. And the lawsuit goes further, asserting that King's actions weren't merely negligent. They were intentional, driven by a desire to sabotage the event and inflict damage on Miller's reputation.
But why would King intentionally derail a project with so much potential? It doesn't seem to make sense.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The article hints at possible motivations,
Okay.
but nothing concrete. Maybe it was a power play,
Yeah.
a way for King, a veteran in the boxing world,
Right.
to assert his dominance over a newcomer like Miller.
Or perhaps King had another event in the works, a competing venture that he didn't want Rumble in the Jungle 2 to interfere with.
That's a possibility. Or maybe there was a personal conflict of falling out between King and Miller that we're not privy to. These things happen especially in high-pressure environments like the world of boxing.
It's like a real-life boxing drama unfolding. We have the players, the drama, the legal maneuvering, but the central question remains unanswered. What was King's true motive?
And that's what makes this case so captivating. It's not just a legal battle. It's a puzzle with missing pieces. As we dive deeper, we'll examine those pieces and see if we can make sense of this intricate situation.
It's like we're ringside watching the fight unfold.
Right.
Speaking of the fight, this lawsuit is seeking a massive amount of money, $3 billion.
Right.
You think Miller has a realistic chance of getting that?
It's a bold claim. And frankly, $3 billion is an unlikely outcome, even if Miller is successful.
Yeah.
Remember, the original Rumble in the Jungle was a global sensation generating immense revenue and cultural impact.
Right.
The lawsuit argues that Rumble in the Jungle 2 had the potential to be even bigger,
Okay.
especially given the 50th anniversary and its location in Africa.
So the lawsuit is essentially arguing that King deprived Miller of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and the damages reflect that lost potential.
Exactly. They're factoring in not just the direct financial losses that Miller incurred,
Right.
but also the potential future earnings, the reputational damage he suffered,
Right.
and the missed opportunity to create something truly historic.
It's like putting a price tag on a shattered dream, but realistically, it's hard to imagine a court awarding such a staggering sum.
You're right. These massive figures often serve as a negotiation tactic, a way to apply pressure and grab media attention.
Yeah.
It's a strategy we've seen before in high-profile lawsuits.
So the $3 billion figure is more of a symbolic statement than a concrete expectation.
I'd say so, but beyond the monetary aspect, there's also a symbolic element at play here.
Okay.
This lawsuit pits a newcomer like Miller against a legend like Don King.
It's a David versus Goliath story, with Miller fighting for justice and accountability against a powerful figure in the boxing world.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's about more than just money. It's about clearing his name, proving he was wronged, and potentially holding King accountable for his actions.
That brings us back to the question of King's motive.
Right.
If he didn't even own the rights to Rumble in the Jungle,
Right.
why get involved in the first place? Was he just bluffing?
That's where the story gets even more intriguing. The article mentions that King underwent a bit of an image makeover after his wife's passing.
Oh, really?
He was presenting himself as a changed man, embracing religion and expressing a desire to do good. This Rumble in the Jungle 2 project, particularly its connection to Africa,
Right.
could have been a perfect opportunity to solidify that new image, even if the legal foundation was shaky.
So perhaps he was banking on his reputation and his ability to work things out,
Right.
hoping to figure out the rights issue later on.
It's a plausible scenario.
Yeah.
Maybe he genuinely believed he could acquire the rights underestimating the complexity or assuming his name alone would carry enough weight, or maybe?
Yeah.
And this is where the mystery deepens.
Yeah.
There was something else entirely at play. We can't know for sure what was going through King's mind.
Right.
But what we do know is that this gamble didn't pay off.
And now he's facing the consequences, with this lawsuit shining a light on the often murky world of boxing promotion, a world where big personalities, big money, and big dreams collide.
Absolutely. This situation reveals the complexities of that world, the importance of due diligence, the potential pitfalls of handshake agreements, and the high cost of broken trust. It's a cautionary tale with far-reaching implications.
It's a reminder that even in a sport as straightforward as boxing, things can quickly get complicated outside the ring.
Right.
But there's one more piece of this puzzle we haven't fully explored. The cultural significance of a Rumble in the Jungle 2, and what its failure means for the world of boxing.
That's a crucial aspect of this story, and we'll delve into it in the final round of our deep dive. Stay tuned as we explore what might have been and the potential ramifications of this lost opportunity.
Welcome back for the final round of our deep dive into the Rumble in the Jungle 2 that never was.
Right.
So we've uncovered a fascinating story of ambition,
Right.
broken promises,
Of course.
and legal battles.
Yeah.
But what does it all mean? What are the potential consequences?
Okay.
And what could this have meant for boxing if it had actually happened?
This lawsuit has the potential to really shake things up
Yeah.
in the boxing world. It's not often you see someone like Don King,
Right.
a true icon of the sport,
Right.
facing such serious accusations. And let's not forget these accusations are coming from Cecil Miller,
Right.
who compared to King is a relative newcomer.
So in a way, this lawsuit is a challenge to the old guard, the established power dynamics in boxing.
Exactly. If Miller wins, or even if the case settles for a significant amount,
Right.
it could embolden others who believe they've been wronged by powerful figures in the industry.
Yeah.
It could force a greater emphasis on transparency and accountability.
It's a reminder that even legends have to play by the rules.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
But the implications extend beyond this specific case.
Okay.
This situation shines a spotlight on the importance of clear contracts,
Right.
especially in an industry where informal deals and handshake agreements have often been the norm.
Yeah, I think a lot of our listeners out there, regardless of their profession, can relate to that.
Yeah.
A solid contract can save you a lot of headaches down the line.
Absolutely. And I think this case could also change how big boxing events,
Yeah.
especially those involving international collaboration,
Right.
are planned and promoted.
Yeah.
We might see increased scrutiny, a greater emphasis on due diligence,
Yeah.
and a reluctance to rely solely on reputation or verbal assurances.
So this lawsuit could be a turning point, forcing the boxing world to adopt a more rigorous and transparent approach.
I think that's a very real possibility.
Yeah.
But beyond the legal and business aspects,
Yeah.
there's the human element to consider.
Right.
This entire situation is a reminder that even in a world of million-dollar purses and global spectacle,
Yeah.
it ultimately boils down to relationships,
Right.
trust,
Of course.
and the consequences of broken promises.
It's a classic tale, really. Ambition, betrayal, the pursuit of justice.
And while we can't predict the outcome of the lawsuit,
Right.
it certainly sparked a conversation about the inner workings of the boxing industry.
Yeah.
And it's left us with a very intriguing what-if question.
Yeah, what if Rumble in the Jungle 2 had actually happened? What kind of impact could it have had?
That's the question that lingers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine the potential.
Yeah.
We could have witnessed a historic event, a celebration of boxing's legacy, a bridge between cultures. The original Rumble in the Jungle had such a profound cultural impact. And a sequel, 50 years later in Africa, could have resonated with audiences worldwide.
Right.
Think of the symbolism, the connection to the continent where all these ancestors were taken from, the echoes of history.
Yeah, it's almost like a missed opportunity for a global moment of unity and celebration.
Exactly. But this lawsuit and the broken promises that led to it
Right.
have robbed us of that possibility.
Right.
It underscores a point we've touched on before.
Yeah.
The importance of not just having a contract,
Right.
but understanding what's in it and making sure it reflects the true spirit of the agreement.
So beyond the legal and financial ramifications, there's a sense of lost potential.
Of course.
A vision that never materialized.
And that's perhaps the most poignant aspect of this entire story.
Hmm.
We're left to wonder what could have been to contemplate the missed opportunity to create something truly special.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most compelling stories are the ones that never quite came to be. And with that, we conclude our deep dive into the Rumble in the Jungle saga. We hope this deep dive provided you with some insightful perspectives on this story and sparked some thoughts on the importance of contracts, the complexities of the boxing world, and the delicate nature of trust and ambition.
Until next time, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and remember, sometimes the most interesting fights happen outside the ring.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're bubbly.